Hi there, I'm Nancy Herring from Now We're Cooking. It's Tuesday, so it's time for tips, tricks, and treats. I can hear my skillet popping over here. Today we're gonna make quesadillas. I think quesadillas are a delicious thing. Cheesy, melty tortillas, what's not to like? But I've been talking to a lot of people and I've been looking at a lot of things. I don't need a recipe for quesadillas. Our purpose for quesadillas is to repurpose our leftovers. So if we don't have anything else to eat and we're thinking, oh, there's a little teeny bit of that Costco chicken or some of the pork tenderloin from a week ago, whatever, we will put it between two tortillas and make quesadillas. So what I've done is I've prepared and have a lot of things. Grated cheese. We like canned refried beans. I admit I use canned. I don't make my own and then squish them up, but that's the filler. I have leftover rice. I want to do a breakfast one, so I have some scrambled eggs and some fried potatoes and some fried ham. I have a lot of various vegetables. Some were leftovers, some I sauteed the other night because I had some things. So we just start assembling them. So I like to do a layer of beans. Some people like to do cheese on both tortillas. I like to do the filling and then cheese to mush it all together. I also like to do two tortillas stacked. You can certainly do one and fold it in half if you like that edge more than the two sides. I was thinking about it. You can put everything that goes in a burrito in a quesadilla, but a quesadilla has crispy golden edges and a burrito doesn't. So that's my thing. These are some sauteed veg. There was peppers and onions because I had some peppers and onions that were turning to the bad side. So I sauteed them. I'm gonna put, let's see. Matthew likes rice, so I'm gonna put some rice because I have some leftover rice. That's not something you'd usually find, but it's a fun thing to put in them. You could season it a whole lot more than I do. I'm just gonna dollop some in there. I have green chili. I'm gonna dip them all in salsa at the end, but I do have green chili. And I also have a bit of leftover barbecued chicken or roasted grilled chicken. So I'm gonna put a couple pieces of that in here. I don't have anything in my skillet, no butter, I didn't spray it. A lot of times I do spray the tortillas, but you don't have to. And this is a blend of cheddar and straight up cheddar and then straight up cheddar and Monterey Jack, that combo. So I've got all my yummies in there. I'm gonna put it on in the skillet, put a top on it, and just let it do its thing. And I'm using my hands, I admit, it's not a bad thing to do. I was playing with this, I want to do a breakfast one. I'm not gonna do beans in this one. I'm gonna do a bit of cheese, and I scrambled up some eggs earlier. So I've got scrambled eggs, and I put a lot of seasoning in them. So this was 2 eggs. And I took some of the ham that I had, and I chunked it, and I sauteed it a little bit. If you had bacon or sausage, to me, you can cook everything that goes in your quesadilla, but if you already have things cooked, that's a great way to do it. And we usually have some just little drib drabs of leftovers, and it's a great way to use them up. So a little more cheese on top to glue everybody together. So I have eggs, cheese, oh, potatoes. I knew there was something else. I had 1 baked potato, and I cut it into small pieces, and I sauteed it. So now I have hash browns. But it was, it was just a leftover potato. This is the reason I don't always I like to do the top and the bottom as opposed to the fold, because I have so many things in it that if I fold it, I don't think it will stick together. Okay, put a top on that one. My tortillas aren't always the same size, but they came out of the same bag, so they should work. Okay, let's see how this guy's doing. He's getting lovely toasty. And he didn't turn quite the way I wanted him to, but that's okay. It's gonna come out great in the end. I wanna show you with a larger tortilla how to make a wedge one. And I have to think about it for a minute. And I had some already grated cheese, so I'm adding some of that. I thought I had plenty of cheese, but you never have enough cheese. So, put some of that in my bowl. Now, when you do a wedge one, I had to draw it out on a piece of paper. So this is a bigger tortilla, and I want to cut from the center to the edge. So I've got a flap like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do quarters. So I'm gonna put some, every quarter is gonna have a little bit of cheese and some filling. So I'm putting the beans, I'm putting some cheese. Now this is, then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna fold it over. Now on this side, let's put some veg. This was a little bit of corn on the cob that was left over. Actually, I'm gonna put it this way. A little bit of leftover corn on the cob and some tomatoes. I cut the corn kernels off. And just for fun, potatoes and corn are good. We'll put some of those in there too. And a little bit more cheese. Then I'm gonna flip this side over this side. And then I've got one more space here. Let's do a little ham and cheese. Then I'm gonna fold it all together and cook it as a wedge. And maybe a few more. These are some grilled veg from the other night. So you can see that I'm not a real flavor purist on these. I'm not trying to make one that has a certain flavor profile. It's like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Let's see how this one's doing. It's brown, it's melty. Our egg one. Ooh, my skillet on the egg one may be, my burner may be a little too low. It's too low, so it's just gonna sit there for a minute. I'm taking this one out. I'm gonna put it on my tray and I'll show you the others. And then I'm gonna put the wedge one in there. So you can see that anything goes. If you wanna stick with a theme, make them all the same. If everybody wants to put their own ideas in, let them put their own ideas. The one thing we were playing around with yesterday, and this is kind of, oh, that's the last one. I'm gonna use a big one. This was kind of a test. I wanted to do a dessert one. And I happen to have a lot of apples. So I sauteed some apples, some butter, and brown sugar. Did that yesterday. And I had another knife here. Put it in. Oh, thank you. So for cheese, I wanted to do cream cheese because we may end up throwing some cheddar cheese. So this is cream cheese that I nuked for just a second so it'd be more spreadable, and I put some maple syrup in it for a little sweetness. So and then I have the apples. And these I'm going to do a little bit neater than I usually would. And as I say, it was a couple of kinds of apples. I sliced them, cored them, sliced them, put them in a skillet with butter and brown sugar and just let them cook for a while. And I didn't put any cinnamon now that I think about it. And I probably should go get the cinnamon as soon as I have the apples laid out, because I think cinnamon and apples are always a good idea. So I'm going to do 2 rows. And it's funny because in the ends, you're not going to see this, but I want the apples to be evenly distributed. It's not like you're going to open it up and say, what a pretty pattern that is. Okay, let me grab a little cinnamon. Whoop. Sorry, I'm not as organized as I should be, but okay. Sprinkle cinnamon, and then you know how you have apple pie with cheddar cheese sometimes? We're gonna put a teeny bit of cheddar over it because that's a thing, and that'll help do some gluing. Okay, this guy, our wedge one, can be turned. Our egg one, still I turned the burner a little too low on that one. We're gonna have to do some burner switching here. Okay, I have this skillet. I'm gonna put this one. I normally would not have 3 or 4 skillets going, but that's okay because I'm making more than I usually do. So I'm moving the egg one over there and putting the potatoes in there. And then I'm gonna put the apple one. Sometimes I just put the tortilla in the pan and do it all in the pan, but I do like to spread them. So that one's going in there. Okay. So a little bit, and if you get it all done and it's crispy the way you want it to be, but it's not as melty, sometimes I will run them into the microwave to melt it a little bit. So you're thinking, okay, I have all these things. What do I do with them? Well, you eat them for supper. So I'm gonna let these guys cook for a minute still. But if I was gonna do all of these at once, I take my platter with some salsa because salsa pretty much goes with all of these flavors. And on these, we'll take a large knife and cut it in half. And then I like to do them in 3 wedges. And yes, some of the filling jumps out, but that's okay. So that's one flavor. This is one. Then I have to show you something that I thought, well, I'm just gonna try this. I was reading and they took a stick of string cheese and wrapped it in a tortilla and put it in a skillet. I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty dang good to me. So I did that. This is my wedge one of my folded wedges. And that could be one person's dinner, but I am gonna cut it also. So that one you have a lot more layers of filling, different portions of filling to goodie. Okay, this is the string cheese. This is the one I want to know. Oh my gosh. I put a little salsa. You could put a little spaghetti sauce in there. That's pretty good. Now, hold on. I want to play with the apple one. And I want to see how the egg one is doing. The egg one just does not want to get brown enough. But you can see how melty it's getting. And that's me changing the burners around. So that's not a function of the product. But I do want to flip the apple one and see what. This is a big tortilla and I have a big round turner. All right. So this wedge one has, again, a ton of layers. I'm not going to cut it right now. I'm turning everybody off. I'm going to give the apple one a minute or two and see if I can cut into it, or should we just peek at it and see? I think we're just going to... Ooh, it is sticking pretty nicely. I do like that. I would serve this with a little caramel sauce on top of it and some ice cream or some whipping cream. So Those I'm gonna let keep going for a few minutes so you don't need to sit and watch. But my point is that quesadillas, by definition, are tortillas and cheese, and that is the classic. Grated cheese in a tortilla, a little chili if you like it, but you can go to town with them. You can put any flavor combination. If there's sandwiches that you like the combinations of, try it in a quesadilla. We almost always have tortillas on hand. I may not always have bread on hand, but tortillas are pretty much of a standard. So I encourage you to play around. If you want to start from scratch and fix everything that goes in a quesadilla, but for our purposes, it's usually we're in a hurry, we want dinner, we've got various things in the fridge left over from other restaurant meals or meals we've made ourselves, and you chop them all up, add a lot of cheese and put them in a tortilla, make that quesadilla. So I'm Nancy Herring from Now We're Cooking. I hope you'll give these things a try. If you need graters or salsa or turners or skillets or any of the things, we even have some books about quesadillas, please stop by and see us. We're at the northeast corner of Paseo in Wyoming. We're open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 4. We're happy to help you out, and we hope you get a quick dinner out of this. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.